My name is Justin, and I did my project on baseball. Baseball is a bat and ball game played between two teams of 9. Very well known sport in the United States as well as many other countries. Baseball is played year-round and has many different levels of organization. The goal of the game is for the offense to score runs by getting hits. On defense, the goal is to stop the offense from scoring by getting 3 outs. Outs come in many ways. You have strikeout, pop out, ground out, etc. Any way that the person does not get to a base after hitting the ball. The teams switch from field to bat to the batting position after 3 outs, and there is 9 total innings in the game. Batters are given 3 strikes for an out and 4 balls for a walk. There are 4 bases, first, second, third, and home, and baseball is played for 9 innings, and it usually lasts around 3 hours. The team with the most runs at the end wins. So now you see a couple pictures here from baseball, and we move on to the developmental level chart. So there's a lot of levels in baseball broken down. I mean, you start with T-ball and go up, but I just broke it down by the essential levels, which would be Little League, middle school, travel team, varsity, college, and professional. So at the Little League level, you're usually around 7 to 12 when you start playing, once you get out of T-ball. As far as the positions, you still have left field, right field, center field, first, second, third, pitcher and catcher. It's all the same all the way up through once you get to professional. Usually when you're in Little League, outfielders are slow, unathletic kids, the kids that aren't as skilled. That's not always true, but sometimes it is, just because it's the easiest position to play in Little League because kids can't hit the ball as far. Pitchers are usually the coach's kids. That's a little bit of a joke, but it is a lot of times. And infielders are usually the more skilled kids, the ones that want to play, the ones that played for the longest. Catcher, a lot of times, is the bigger kid, stereotypical, but slow, big, power hitter a lot of times. And as you get towards middle school and travel team, the kids start to mature. They find, in Little League, they also play every position usually, but once they get to middle school travel team, they usually pick a position that they're going to play and they stick at it. For pitchers, they'll usually play more than one position because they'll pitch, and then some games they'll play the field. So pitchers will be a pitcher and an outfielder, things like that. But as you get to travel team, like I said, everybody starts to get better. Outfielders are no longer the unathletic kids. They're more athletic because they have to move around more because kids can hit the ball further. As you move up to junior varsity is pretty much the same as travel teams, because like you can see from travel teams you play 8 to 18, and then junior varsity and varsity is 14 to 18. So usually when kids are playing varsity, they're playing travel team as well. So the positions and the characteristics of the body type and whatnot is all pretty much the same. As you go on to college professional, which is 18 and up, for baseball you can get drafted right out of high school, so professionals can be playing when they're 18. That's different from other sports like basketball and football where you have to go to college. So the age range is pretty wide for college and professional athletes, and like I said, it's pretty much still the same. The outfielders, quick, very athletic, very skilled, as well as the infielders in every position. Pitchers don't really play the field anymore. They stick to pitching. You have different kinds of pitchers now, whereas in varsity and junior varsity, pretty much if you're a pitcher, you can pitch all positions: closer, relief pitcher, starter. You usually do it all, but once you get to college and professional, you usually pick one. You're going to be the closer, you're going to be the relief pitcher, you're going to be the starter. So now we'll move on down to my first article. Name of this article was "The Whole Body and Segmental Muscle Volume are Associated with Ball Velocity in High School Pitchers." So pretty much the method for this was they wanted to examine relationships between pitching ball velocity and segmental and whole body muscle volume. There's 47 high school pitchers from Japan used in the study. 40 were right-handed and 7 were left-handed. The age, stature, mass, baseball experience, and maximal pitch velocity were all recorded. For the pitch velocity, they had 3 max effort trials. As a result, they found that all had at least 5 years of experience, all the pitchers that they used, all 47. The age range was 15 to 17 years old. Stature was about 168 to 179 centimeters. Body mass 58 kilograms to 72 kilograms. And their maximum pitch velocity, which I found this pretty surprising, was only 92 to 134 kilometers per hour, which was about 57 to 83 miles per hour. I just found it surprising that there were some kids that were that age that weren't throwing above 60 or 70 miles per hour. Anyways, muscle volume of the pitcher's dominant arm was larger than the non-dominant arm, but the muscle volume in the dominant leg had no difference from that of the non-dominant leg. The whole body muscle volume and segmental muscle volume are correlated with the ball velocity. The muscle volume for both lower legs and the dominant side for the upper leg, upper arm, and forearm do correlate with the ball velocity. Trunk muscle velocity does not correlate with the ball velocity. So pretty much there was no significant differences in any variables between right and left-handed pitchers. This study focuses on Newell's individual structure because the article goes into height and weight and how they affect how you can throw the ball. This study can help recruiters or coaches. They can look at this and develop their philosophy of what range of muscle volume they want their pitchers to have, as well as coaches can develop strength and training programs to increase their athletes' muscle volume. Also gives players, specifically pitchers, an idea of what body parts that are doing most of the work when they're pitching. So it helps them break down what they need to do to become a better pitcher, have better speed, what muscles they need to work on. The normative data for this was the kids in this study were in the 45th percentile of the height on the normative data chart and in the 30th percentile in weight on the normative data chart. This is the citation and the PDF for the article. We'll go to Article 2. Article 2 deals with the differences in batted ball speed with a wood and aluminum bat, and this study ended up being very, it seems pretty obvious. The metal bat is going to be more than the wood bat. It's a pretty largely talked about study, but it was very interesting. I went to the methods, the differences in the performance of wood and metal bats measured as a function of batted ball speed. There was 19 male baseball players from 17 to 39, 9 professionals, 6 NCAA college players, and 4 high school players who were all recruited to play college. So they didn't just choose just anybody. They made sure they had people that were going to expand their career in baseball. There was 5 aluminum bats and 2 wooden bats, and they had 6 models of each for each player to use. That way they weren't using the same bats over and over again. And reflective tape was on the baseballs for motion tracking. They also used a specific type of baseball. I don't remember what it was, but they used a new baseball every time, and it was a specific type. They didn't use different types of baseballs. So the results were a total of 1,079 pitches. Of those, there was 538 hits. The remaining pitches, which were fouls, pop-up, strikes, anything that did not go into play, they were just excluded from the study. So what they found was the professionals' batted ball speed was 105, on average was 105 plus 1.6 miles per hour. And the college athletes were 103.1 plus or minus 2.1 miles per hour. And high school was 99.6 plus 1.7 miles per hour. They used 10% of the hits for each group. So what we can see from this study is that metal bats had more hits at a higher batted ball speeds than the wood bats. Only 5% of the wood bats exceeded 97 miles per hour, while 5% of the hits on bat M2, which was the second metal bat, were over speeds of 106 miles per hour. Batted ball speed significantly increased with increased level. So it's nothing that we didn't really know. The better you get at the sport, the more you play. Obviously, you feel like you're going to be a better batter, hit the ball harder. And with the wood into the metal bats did hit harder. What surprised me is the lack of how much harder you hit. So from a professional to a college, they were only hitting about 2 miles per hour harder. The big thing with why we choose to use wooden bats is for safety and because the pros essentially hit the ball too hard. They'd be hitting so many home runs and blah blah blah. But in college, they're still using metal bats, aluminum, and they're only hitting it 2 miles per hour difference there. So is it really enough to change bats? And what this author was talking about a lot in this article was, why do we start off small and then go big? So why do we start with metal bats and then once we're finally at the highest level use wooden bats? Why do kids start playing basketball on an 8-foot goal and move to 10 foot? Why do you start with a smaller football and move to a bigger football? And why don't we start with a wooden bat, train with a wooden bat our whole life, and then by the time we're in the professionals, if we make it there, wouldn't we be hitting the ball a lot harder if we've trained with that wooden bat our whole life? This was very interesting to me because I've never thought about it like that. It's just always been, you use a metal or aluminum bat all the way through college, and then you use a wooden bat after that in the pros. So it's pretty good little study that he had. This study, it can help the baseball world, all in all, coaches and players. For players, it tells you what you need to train if you want to be in the pros. So as a kid, maybe you do want to start practicing with a wooden bat earlier. Not necessarily use it in the game, but use it to practice, to gain batted ball speed, increase your swing speed, just anything. For players who are advanced at early ages, it would be beneficial to start training, like I said, with the wooden bat. Like the author said, it brings up a good point. From college to high school, you're changing these bats, and why are we doing that? So it was something that was very interesting to me, something that I'll definitely keep looking into, and maybe this article will reach out to somebody and say, we're doing things wrong, maybe we shouldn't change. If we're going to be with a metal bat at the younger ages, then we should stay with the metal bat. You can look at the numbers and you can see they're not all that different. So it's very interesting, but that was it for that article. There's the citation, and then batted ball speed, and I couldn't find anything on the normative data for this. They didn't do height, weight, the stature, things like that, and I thought, if there was something to change about this article, it would definitely be to get a group of this height, this weight, and do it by that. That would help, so you could see positionally where people stand, and just would enhance this study. But that's all I have.